And welcome to The Issue Is, and we begin with two very articulate spokespeople with two very different worldviews. Ann Coulter is a 13-time New York Times best-selling author. Her newest book is Resistance is Futile, How the Trump-Hating Left Lost Its Collective Mind, and recently the left has kind of lost its mind about her. Many say she's a driving force behind the government shutdown with highly influential columns that President Trump seems to be paying attention to recently. Lisa Bloom is one of the best-known attorneys in the country and a progressive activist. Lisa, too, has been a focus of mainstream media for her involvement in high-profile cases of sexual assault harassment, greatly fueled by the hashtag #MeToo and Time's Up movements. Ladies, welcome to both of you. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay, Ann, let's start with you since you're so much at the focus of this political debate right now. There are some people who say that you're sort of driving the government essentially like the president right now. There's this cartoon that we saw that was out there that shows you as almost a tarantula with President Trump in the middle and Rush Limbaugh basically suggesting the fact that you're keeping him in a cage. How do you respond to some of that? Do you feel like you are kind of running the country right now?
I wish it would be much better run. No, I mean, this is silly. It's Trump's base. He promised every day for 18 months to build a wall. He kicked the can down the road for 2 years. So, I mean, if they want to take me and Rush as a stand-in for the base, okay, fine. But it's not me. It's not Rush. I mean, if anything, it's the news. It's the Drudge Report. It's Breitbart alerting Trump's base that he was about to sell out again.
So is it worth it to shut down the government over the wall?
Well, is it worth it to shut down the government over not funding the wall at 0.11% of the federal budget? I mean, this is really silly. Yes, restart the government, fund this tiny, tiny amount of wall. If Trump wanted to take that amount of money and build a gigantic statue to himself, what, you're shutting down the government over that? Who cares if it doesn't work, as they're claiming? Who cares if it's immoral, this is absurd? It's 0.11% of the federal budget. I promise you, there's a lot more going to a lot more useless things, but that's not why they're shutting down. It's because they know it will be effective. That's why they need to shut it down.
Lisa, is this worth it?
Yeah, but this is not about 0.11% of the budget. This is about human beings who can't pay their rent. 800,000 federal workers and the family members that they support who are going to food banks in their TSA shirts. This is what we have become. Working people who the Republicans used to support. Anybody who works for a living, you know, we support you. Well, these are working folks who now can't pay their kids' school expenses, are going to food banks. I mean, this is appalling.
And your response to that, because President Trump has said, blame me for the shutdown. I take responsibility for this.
Yeah, that was an idiotic thing to say, and we've heard it 1 million times on TV. Okay, we got the message. He said something stupid. Congratulations, media. Fund the wall, and those 800,000 people go back to work.
I mean, do you feel any responsibility for some of those folks, for the people that aren't working right now?
No, why should I? I'm not an elected official.
But you're advocating a position that hurts real people.
So are you. You're saying keep it shut down over 11% of the budget.
No, I'm saying
spend the 11%. Sorry, it's not 11%. It's 0.11.
If I may speak, I'm saying don't have a shutdown. Allow people who are working for a living to get paid for their work. That should be a fundamental American value, whether you're left or right. And then we can have this debate. You know, this is a single issue that, yes, Trump campaigned on. He also campaigned on Mexico was going to pay for it. Of course, that's not happening. That was never going to happen. And, you know, let's have a robust debate about immigration, but let's take the foot off the neck of the federal workers who are real people who are suffering week after week while this goes on.
Okay, let's do it by funding 0.11% of the federal budget.
But most people don't want a wall. We want border security.
Okay, so you're willing to shut down the government for those 800,000?
No, I'm not shutting down. I'm not shutting down the government.
800,000.
That's ridiculous.
Poor
Nobody on the left is in favor of shutting down the
0.11% of the federal budget.
You know, and you don't like it, but Trump said in a moment of rare candor that he is the one who shut it down. He clearly has the power.
Okay, he
did
says
shut
dumb
it down
things sometimes.
But
it's
he also
0.11% of the budget.
dumb thing.
That's where we are right now.
It's not a budget
of the budget.
issue. It's a human issue.
Of
people who are suffering.
Okay.
And I know you don't care about the suffering of these people.
Well, apparently
I know
you
that
don't.
Congress Secretary Wilbur Ross, who said, you know, I don't care. It really doesn't doesn't matter. I don't understand why they're at food
I'm
banks.
not Wilbur
I know
Ross,
that
and I
Lara
didn't say
Trump
that.
said that
I'm
it's only a
saying
little
I
bit of
care
fun.
enough that I think you should
on the
spend
substance,
it. I'm not Wilbur
on the
Ross.
substance itself, and regardless of what percentage of the budget it is, there's a lot of Democrats that say we should not build a wall at all. It's a bad thing to do. Do you agree with that?
I don't think we need a wall. We have a net loss of people to Mexico every year. The wall is a medieval solution to a modern issue. Let's deal with immigration in a comprehensive way that also respects the humanity of the people who are here and the people who are trying to come here, because they're fleeing violence, they're fleeing rape in their country. We have an asylum process that is broken. Most people on both sides acknowledge the whole system is broken. Let's speed it up. Let's fix the process. Let's give people a path to citizenship. You know, I'm a business owner. I employ a couple dozen people in my law firm. My best employees are immigrants. If somebody walks 1,000 miles to come here, that's the kind of person I would love to hire. These are contributing members of our society, and we don't need a wall.
Anne?
Well, the medieval solution is a really dumb cliche. A roof is a medieval solution to a problem of rain falling into your house. A wheel is a medieval solution to dragon stuff. No, obviously they think a wall would be effective. That's why they are shutting down the government and keeping these 800,000 people out of work, rather than spending this absolutely pennies compared to the rest of the federal budget to build a wall. And if walls don't work, time to tell it to Israel.
But
they put up a wall, and they were having a huge illegal immigration problem. They got it down to 0 illegal immigrants. Of course walls work.
A majority of the American public are blaming President Trump more than the Democrats for this shutdown. President Trump, as you've said, has already said that blame me for this shutdown. So why do you keep blaming the Democrats?
Well, they're the ones who are keeping it shut down. I mean, if they care so much about the 800,000, that's all Lisa talked about here. Okay, it's 0.11% of the federal budget, and it's up and running again. And to go through that Trump said, I'll take credit for the shutdown. Okay, Trump has said a lot of stupid stuff, but right now, let's look at where the situation is. The government is shut down because Trump wants $5.7 billion for his wall in a quadrillion-dollar budget, and the Democrats are saying, nope, 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 we're going to keep the 800,000.
Well, the Democrats, in
Why?
fact,
Because a wall is effective, and they want cheap labor.
The Democrats, in fact, have passed bill after bill in the now democratically controlled House to reopen the government. The Democrats are not in favor of the shutdown. That's point number one. Point number two is, of course, the Republicans were in control the last 2 years of both houses of Congress and the presidency. Why didn't they build the wall then? Why didn't they pass it then when he had the chance?
Well, and the Republican Senate passed a bill without the funding as well. And then the president came back on that after a lot of people credit from you.
It was a voice vote. That's a hard thing to say.
Yeah.
The Republicans have also passed or tried to pass bills that would fund all of these 800,000 employees without reopening the government, and the Democrats voted against that. So don't tell me they are weeping over the 800,000.
So a question about you. Mike Huckabee said that basically if this is so bad, Ann Coulter, if she's got the way to get it done, then let her run for office, adding that she's never done that, so she's never had to be in the position of having to sit down and work through something to a solution. So what's your response to Mike Huckabee and people say, why don't you just run for office?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to run for office. I was waiting for a position in the Huckabee administration. That didn't work out.
So that's your way of, your response to that? Would you ever run for office?
Why doesn't he run for office? Oh, wait, I remember.
Yeah.
No, there's a group now that is insisting that I run for office. I just got an email before coming over here. I forget what the group is, that if Trump doesn't build the wall, Ann Coulter should run for president. And while, yes, they're right, totally right, I would make a fantastic president, I am against women working, so not in the cards.
Okay. Well, she's joking there, folks.
Well, I'm against this woman working.
Okay. The State of the Union, there was this spat between the president and the Speaker of the House. It appears the Speaker of the House has won this. At least the president's not going to be giving the speech. What do you make of that?
I think that's absolutely right. I think as long as over 1 million Americans, when you include the family members, are suffering in the way that they are, it's not appropriate for President Trump, who has the power to open the government immediately, for him to come in and give the State of the Union. And frankly, does anybody really care about the State of the Union? It's so canned. It's so, these lines that are just rehearsed, and half the group stands, half the group sits. I think we should go back to having it in writing the way we used to have it.
Ann?
I just think it's utterly petty and typical of Nancy Pelosi, but whether he gives the speech or not, I don't care.
Okay, as we go to
We
break.
found something to agree on. How do
There
you
you
like
go.
that?
How about that? So let's go to break there. We also want to bring a little Pink Floyd, Brick in the Wall. This is for Ann.
Brick in the wall? Oh.
Yeah. Up next, is the president witness tampering with Michael Cohen? What's up with that case? And later, TMZ's Harvey Levin joins us. Stay with us. The issue is, comes right back.
That's funny.
Welcome back. We're listening to Unstoppable by Sia. This is the song choice from Lisa when
This
we
is my
asked
song.
her song. Why is this your song?
Unstoppable, because we have to keep fighting for what we believe in and be unstoppable.
Well, something tells me you're going to continue to do that as you join Ann Coulter on this this panel discussion. Let's talk for a moment about Michael Cohen. He was supposed to testify before the House Oversight Committee. It was going to be one of the biggest spectacles of a Trump era, which is filled with really big spectacles. But then Cohen suddenly said he's not going to do it, citing threats from the president. Here's what he told Fox News host Jeanine Pirro.
He should give information maybe on his father-in-law, because that's the one that people want to look at, because where does that money? That's the money in the family. And I guess he didn't want to talk about his father-in-law. He's trying to get his sentence reduced.
So, Lisa, is that witness tampering?
It could be. That alone is not sufficient for witness tampering, but behind the scenes, if there's more to that, for example, if federal agents are investigating Michael Cohen's father-in-law at Trump's direction, you know, it's so offensive that he does this so openly. I think we should all agree not to go after the family members of people. This should be about Michael Cohen, what he did, whether there's corroboration for his story or not. Leave his family out of it.
Ann?
Well, we agree again. No, that is not witness tampering. Oh my gosh, look back at the things Bill Clinton did to all the women who accused him, including having the IRS audit Paula Jones. That's actually government action. No charges brought for that. No, I think what we're seeing now, and yeah, there could be something we don't know about, but that's, as I describe in Resistance is Futile, this is what news is like in the Trump era. It's not what we all know. It's, yeah, but what if Trump robbed a bank? Then could we impeach him? Then could we impeach? Okay, but he hasn't robbed a bank yet, MSNBC.
But this is what Trump actually
so yeah,
said.
Maybe in the background they're threatening the family, but it's absurd to call that witness tampering. Everything Cohen is saying is just, please like me, media, please like me, please, please.
But isn't he clearly threatening the family there? And his attorney, Rudy Giuliani, threatened as well?
And it's so demeaning to the office of the presidency.
I mean, what they want is for Trump not to be able to say anything to defend himself. No, Cohen is out there making all kinds of outlandish claims, allegedly, apparently, about Trump, and he can't say you ought to be looking at the father. So he's not looking at the father. He's not sicking the attorney general on him. He's just saying, wow, that looks like a dirty family. Again, let's flash back to the things that were done to the accusers of Bill Clinton, whom we now know were telling the truth. I mean, releasing all of Kathleen Willey's letters to the president as soon as she accuses him.
Okay, but two wrongs don't make a right. And listen, at the time, I called for Bill Clinton, who I gave money to and supported, to step down because I thought what he did was wrong. And I think I think what Trump is doing is clearly wrong. You know, we used to have the idea that the office of the presidency was a dignified office where people are not calling for a family member of somebody he does not like to be investigated, for the news media and for others to investigate the father-in-law. Clearly that is putting pressure on Michael Cohen. And also, I know Michael Cohen's attorney, Lanny Davis, a little bit. I believe him to be a person of integrity. And if he's saying that Michael Cohen and his family are being threatened, I believe that.
So why do you think he's not testifying?
Well, first of all, the idea that two wrongs don't make a right. No, the point is, let's drop the dignity of the office after Bill Clinton was in there. And it's not a threat to say, to question the credibility of witnesses, which is what he's doing, that Michael Cohen has so much to hide that he will trade and trade and trade. Oh, whatever you want me to say, because Michael Cohen and the backer of his business, I mean, his father isn't just a father-in-law, it's his business partner, that's what he's really been gone after for. Those are the real crimes that the Southern District has overturned. So what Trump and Giuliani are saying is, well, you can't believe the other stuff they're giving him. It's just like, you know, any kind of anybody who flips and testifies against the defendant. Well, what deal did you get here? What deal did you get to say that? That's all they're saying. To act like this is a threat just shows you how insane the media is in the era of Trump.
But this has nothing to do with Michael Cohen's business or his father-in-law. This has to do with the central question of whether he's telling the truth when he says that Trump directed him to lie. And I deal with witnesses who flip in my practice every day. It's very common. And the way that you deal with it is you look for corroboration. Sure, if somebody told story X last week and they're telling story Y this week, you're not just going to believe it on the face of it. You're going to look for corroboration. And guess what? Michael Cohen has recordings. We have checks. We have a lot of backup to his story. Does anybody really believe that the Stormy Daniels payment was not something that was known by Donald Trump? Come on. Trump himself has changed his story multiple times on that. From I don't know to yes, Michael Cohen, yes, I directed it.
Well, that's why it will be so interesting to see that Mueller report, and let's hope that it's public, just because it would be good for everybody to see.
Right, and not talk about these BuzzFeed claims that, maybe there's a recording.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there, but we want to play some more music. This is your choice now, Darius Rucker's Wagon Wheel. We're going to play. Why this song?
I just think it's zippy.
Okay.
I like this song, too.
There we go. Finding more reason to agree. A reminder that this show and all of our past shows, including past episodes with Ann and Lisa, are available in podcast form. Just search for The Issue Is, and please consider subscribing. Our panel will be back in a little bit later to talk about the Super Bowl, but up next, TMZ's Harvey Levin on politics, entertainment, and the changing media landscape. More The Issue Is in just a moment. Now more music.
You country music fan? A little bit.
Love that music. Preparations well underway in Atlanta for next Sunday's Super Bowl between the Rams and the Patriots this weekend. Liza B, Pablo Alsina, and me all headed to Atlanta to begin our nonstop live coverage. I'll be there starting Monday morning on Good Day LA. We'll have a special show during this time slot next Friday night. Welcome back to our panel, Ann Coulter and Lisa Bloom. So, Rams, Patriots, who do you got?
I'm more of a baseball fan, so I'm utterly disloyal with football teams. Consequently, since I'm in LA, I would like to root for the Rams and have your viewers at least like me for this. However, in 2015, I rooted for the Seahawks against the Patriots, and I don't think I'm making that mistake again.
Okay. Lisa.
I'm an LA girl, born and bred. Definitely go Rams.
All right, I love that. Rams, baby, for me as well. That's all for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week from Atlanta. So as we go to away, a little welcome to Atlanta from Luda. Have a great weekend.
What's the weather going to be like in Atlanta?
Cold.
Okay.